Hey guys, Shadney back with another process video for my Scrapdemic series where I'm trying to bring you inspiration that's contagious. And basically the whole idea is I just want to give everyone the opportunity to join in, and anyone that wants to do a video for Scrapdemic is welcome, and just to kind of get everyone's mind off the whole crazy coronavirus craziness. So anyways, so today's video, I'm just doing another old photo of India, and this one's me and India. When she was about 8-9 months old, we were rear-ended really badly, and totaled our car. And so this is at the dealership after we found out that it was totaled, and we're purchasing another one. We went to just test drive and then ended up purchasing, and India was really great through the whole process. She didn't cry or throw fits or anything. She was very patient and just wonderful during the whole thing. So this was during some of our paperwork, and she was being silly and playing on, she wasn't playing on my phone, but we were looking at my phone, so she was laughing at herself. Anyways, so basically what I've done is I've taken this wood grain paper and I cut it down to 11.5 by 11.5 inches. And then now I'm trying to figure out which one of these two papers I want to mat it on so that it shows the border. And then I decide on the polka dots. These are all from a Maggie Holmes 12 by 12. My brain stopped. Not layout. Paper pad. Sorry, my brain completely blanked. I could not remember the words. Anyways, it is from a 12 by 12 Maggie Holmes paper pad from Tuesday Morning that I got not that long ago. From my mom bought me, actually. And then this piece of pink is a little over 8.5 by 11. It's like 9 by 11.5 or something. And I trimmed it down just a little bit just to fit how I wanted it on my page. And then this layout's just going to have a lot of layers. So I will be going through, I've pulled out some scraps, or no, mostly scraps. And then, yeah, a little bit of 6 by 8, but most of them are scraps. And I'm just kind of playing with them, arranging, and then trying to decide what size I want everything to be. And then I'll start trimming down before I do anything else, before I adhere anything down. So I'm just trimming these at different sizes. Some will go, I like my paper layers to have some variation in them, so they're not all just the same size squares, like getting larger concentric squares or rectangles or whatever. I like to have a little bit of interest to it. So some are gonna be like only partially behind the photo, like it's hard to explain, where it's not sticking out on all 4 sides, where it's only sticking out on 2 sides or 3 sides or whatever. Or like some strips that go just behind and not across the top or bottom, stuff like that. I like to keep some interest and have some varied sizes, especially too when you have, it's not as bad with these papers that I've used, but sometimes whenever you have papers that have a larger print on them and you can't really tell what the print is unless you show more of the paper, so then you can show more so that you can tell what the print is, stuff like that. So then once I kind of decide exactly where I want things, I can start adhering things. And in this situation, I didn't adhere it all at once. I kind of did it as I went, just to kind of keep it, because I didn't want to get too far and then lose my spot how I wanted it or whatever. So I kind of did it as I went, and you can see I tore paper here and then I messed it up. So I went back and just tore the whole thing because I didn't like how it tore. So I think now is when I will start adhering it down. Sorry, I didn't realize this went so slowly. I'm still just kind of playing with it, trying to decide where I want things. And then, yes, now I will start adhering things. I will work from the top down just to make sure everything stays together. And I just lightly touched it to the layer behind it and to pick it up, and then adhered it better with my hands. And then I also used my thumbnail just to go around the edges of each layer, which I probably should have done before I adhered it, but to go around the edges of the layers so that they kind of the edges kind of wrinkle up a little bit and give it a little bit more texture to the page. If you haven't been on my channel for a while, you will soon find out that I like a lot of texture and a lot of dimension on my pages. So I usually do stuff like that just to add some extra texture. It just visually, it just makes me more happy. I'm a very touchy-feely person, and whenever you see a layout like that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But if you see a layout like that that has a lot of texture and dimension to it, it just looks like it would feel good. And not that you even have to feel it, but in my head, it just makes sense. So it's crazy, but that's how I like it. So we're good. And I understand a lot of people don't like a lot of dimension. And in that sense, you wouldn't have to do that. You wouldn't have to wrinkle up the edges, and you wouldn't have to add foam like I just did. And I did add foam before I added that last layer just to give it a little bit more interest, but also because I usually do like to pop my photo up a little bit. Now I've pulled out some Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and I am just going to splatter across the background. It is a very bright, vibrant, dark pink. It's really pretty. I just got it recently off of Amazon because if you didn't know, they don't make these anymore. So they're a little hard to come by, but I bought an overpriced one off of Amazon, and I was really excited when it came in because it's a very pretty color. So I'm just splattering it all around the background and just making sure I keep holding my photo over it just a little bit, just to make sure you can see enough of the splatter around the outside and it's fairly even. So now I'm going to adhere down this the layered photo mats and all that. And then off camera, I went ahead and cut apart sheet from the Maggie Holmes paper pad and just pulled out the more pink pieces that I liked, that I wanted to use, and am going to start using those to tuck in around the mats. If it's something that looks like it's sticking out, but it doesn't, like it's too big, I will trim it off and just tuck it under the edge so it still looks like the whole thing's back there, but it's not really. This sold ticket, I was trying to use it in a way so that you could still see the sold. That's why I was trying it in weird places, but I ended up doing it at the bottom, and then I cover it up in the end anyways with the thicker, so it doesn't matter. So I just stick it down there and just keep tucking and adding things. I haven't adhered anything yet, but I will go back and adhere everything down in a minute. And then you might have missed it, but I also added a little white tab to the top, and these are from Whimsy Fox Crafts on Etsy. Iris makes them, and they are amazing. She sent me a few in my package just to try them, and I'm in love. I've used them on like every layout I've done lately, so I've got to go place another order from her and order a bunch of them. She's got them, and they're just white tabs, but they're stitched across the bottom, and these ones are gold stitched, but there's all different colors of stitching, so I've got to go buy a bunch with all the different colors of stitching so they can match everything. So anyways, moving on, I'm just still going around and adding and tucking all these pieces and adhering as I go at this point. And that little ticket, it says whatever it was like perfect for this layout, but the 15 is wrong because it's actually 2016. So I went in and I pulled these gold thickers, and I loved them, but they were just a little too long. But because of the way they're foam, by the way, but because of the way they're shaped anyways, I could just go in and trim it and they fit perfectly. So I really like how that turned out. So now I am pretty much done with that part of the layout, the tucking and the layering. Now I'm just adding this at the very end to look like, you can see at the top where the pink is sticking out, it looks like it's a continuous piece behind the photo. So now I'm trying to decide on the title for the page, and I like the snapshot on the gold thickers, the phrase thickers, but I want to do dealership because that is what it is. So on wax paper, I put the word dealership, and then I'm just kind of moving these around to try to make sure where I want them. So once I get it decided, once I decide on the position I want the letters or the words, I will go in and just start adding them to the background. Thankfully, both of these, well, one is foam and one is like puffy sticker kind of, so they stick really well. And the next thing I do is pull out some epoxy flare from Scrap and Happy Studios. You would have just seen these in a haul not that long ago. And I pulled out the camera, which was one of the freebies she sends on her business card, and then a little heart-shaped one, which are super cute, and I add that to the bottom. I also add these photo corners. I think it's a Heidi Swapp little embellishment pack, maybe a Vicky Booten. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. And the package is open, so I can't see the front, but they're just little gold corners, photo corners, and so I just did those on the four corners of the pink paper, or the pink layer, and then I'm adhering these enamel, no, not enamel, epoxy, the sorry, the epoxy flare with Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere them down. So next I'm pulling out these Tim Holtz little tiny label stickers, and I'm going to use one just down here at the bottom, and I believe I put the date. Yes. So I will just add the date there, and then this tab, I haven't adhered that down yet, so on the tab, I don't know what I wrote on the tab. But I will go ahead and adhere that down at the top as well. No, the tab has the date. I don't know what the bottom says. Oh, sorry. The label says Hibden, which is the dealership we bought our car from. I am so sorry. When I'm recording these voiceovers, there's a little black box right across the bottom of my screen, so I can't always see what's happening at the bottom of the screen very well. So sometimes I get confused on what's happening. Anyways, I pulled out the tiny type. They're not tiny type. They're from a different brand, not Tim Holtz, but the little phrase stickers. And I'm just going to add a couple to the page, one at the bottom, maybe two, and then one on the left, I believe. Goodness, sorry. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear that, but India's supposed to be asleep right now, and she is in her room going, "What was that?" while I was coughing. So she can obviously hear what's going on. Anyway, so moving on, I'm just adding more embellishments. I've pulled out these little gold starburst sequins from that embellishment pack that I got the gold photo corners from. And then I'm going to add, I think, just one more, or maybe I had one left. And then I'm going to pull out my Whimsy Fox crafts. I think she calls them sprinkles, but they're just like little sprinkly bits. There's hearts and stars and little starbursts. So I pull out the starbursts so that they will coordinate with the bigger starbursts. And these are just gold little vellum pieces, and they are perfect for just adding a little sprinkle of fun stuff. Sorry, we are still all getting over all the flu crazy that we had last week, so still have the cough. Anyway, so pulling out some more sequins, and these are from the dollar spot at Joann's. They come in this big giant jar, and I just pulled out the light pink and the very bright hot pink, like that matches that Heidi Swap splatter. And I've decided for sequins, you might have heard it in another video, but I've decided for sequins, Tombow Mono is the perfect adhesive for sequins because when it dries like a glue dot so that it has a little bit of give. It's like a little rubbery, and it has some extra grip. So they are perfect for sequins and they won't pop off. I don't really use it for a lot of other stuff. It just doesn't dry as quickly as my Nuvo. And if it dries, if it like leaks out, it stays sticky. So like a glue dot. So anyways, so I don't use it for most things, but sequins, it is amazing. Now I'm just adding my journaling across the bottom, and I actually had a lot more to say than I realized. I didn't realize I had that much. And then that is it. That is all for my layout. This was a pretty quick one. It was just lots of layers, not a lot of extra fussy cutting or anything like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you like my video, please hit like and subscribe if you want to see more. I forgot, I did also go back and add little starburst from the thickers. I just realized they're in the photo. And that they were in that thickers pack with the phrase stickers. Anyway, sorry. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And then if come back tomorrow and we'll have another video. Sorry, I've got distracted with what I was saying. Hope y'all have a wonderful day and happy scrapping. Bye.